satellite's not going to go live yet. So all right, so we're batting 1,000. So
thank goodness.
So Brett has a knife. The sheriff has a knife, or not yet, but is getting a knife. And Chuck, I don't think you've got one, right?
No, I've been too busy to look at it. As a matter of fact, I just put up the website to remind me to look at them.
Okay, all right. So that's Chuck and Rich we need to take care of. So, all right. So Brett, which one are we, is that where we're going to do the Microtech today?
Yeah, I really like this one. I didn't think I'd like it out the front, but everybody I showed it to, even strangers in public, they just love it. You ought to see the reaction when I go out in a crowd of people and go, "Hey, look at this!" They all say something. I don't remember what it is.
I love it. I love it. Hey, so get a good look at the sheriff now. Do you remember when he had the cell phone up a second ago, and I was counting how many fingers he had, and he had no Band-Aids. So I'm just saying that the next time we see him, if he has Band-Aids or he's missing a digit after he gets the knife, we'll all know. It's going to be hard not to play with the out the front, so I'm going to be looking.
And both these companies, and not just because we're on the, these are solid knives.
Yeah,
man, just really incredible.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, you're gonna love that, Sheriff. And I don't know if your troops are carrying knives or not, but they're gonna feel the need after that.
When you talk about, well, all my guys, in fact, I just got a letter from one of my guys. They have to submit a letter asking permission to carry a knife, but you should pull up the video of the Washington. I can't remember where it was in Washington.
Oh, I know that was in the CBT that do the central breath test, right? Where they fight over the gun and the cop's got a knife, and I need to get that guy on the show, but he stabs the guy to death, and I counted 12 to 14 stab. Those were like puncture wounds on the guy's back, on the bad guy's back, not to mention the slash mark. Oh my gosh, the cop, it was crazy. Yeah. Well, welcome streamers to the show, guys. And yeah, we're just talking, but we got a good crew on the day. I do the formal introductions when we start the satellite portion of the show, which is coming up, according to our MBS clock behind me, about 4 minutes and 10 seconds that we're away from starting the radio portion of the show. Oh my gosh. That had to have been Brett.
Wasn't me.
That had to have been Brett.
No, I don't know. I wouldn't have any idea how to do that. On my Commodore 64 computer here.
I forgot, Brett has us all, we have to play Brett's theme song when he logs into the show. So,
it's a good thing you're there and not here.
You gotta love it. Sheriff Kreider is on YouTube. Wow, look at that. Multitasking. I love it. So
yeah.
And at 78 degrees in Walla Walla, that's actually not bad. That's pretty good, actually.
It's 9 o'clock in the morning.
That's true.
Oh, that's okay. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Yeah, we're 12 noon over here in Tampa.
Humidity is probably Canada, so yeah.
Yeah.
And it's only going to be 96 today. It was 102 yesterday.
Oh, shoot.
Where at, Mark?
Walla Walla, Washington State.
Oh, that's right.
But the humidity level is pretty low, right?
I grew up in humidity, and hot is hot. Once you hit 95, it doesn't matter whether there's humidity or not. It's hot.
Where did you, out of curiosity, where was it, Maryland that you grew up in, or the DC area?
Maryland.
Where'd you grow up?
He's not a communist.
Yeah. I grew up in the great state of Ohio.
Okay. Wow. Okay, that's where Jeff Winninger is. Okay.
We were talking about Cleveland, Ohio the other day on the show.
Short-term memory for me. It wasn't substantial enough to go into the long-term area. So
you got to lay off the weed, Chip.
Yeah.
No, it's the
just because it's legal.
Yeah, just because it's legal. Here you go. Look at that. Look at that special ops. Can you see that special ops thing with the night vision on the
That's really cool. Explode.
Yeah, Black Rifle, baby. I have to reach out to them. I've been anyhow. I've got my little when you have trouble getting in, you go to LinkedIn. Is what you do, and you form relationships on LinkedIn, and then you reach out and you touch somebody.
That's when you bring in the roofie.
Golly, where did this come from?
Well, you said
where did this come? I've only done a roofie once, and I didn't take it. I gave it to somebody, and I couldn't get anybody to work with me and be my partner, so I gave it to Brett, and it was. We worked together after that, and
I felt very uncomfortable later.
Well, I had photographs, videos of him and compromising stuff, so he had no choice but to work with me. So it all worked out.
And then I retired as a captain. How weird.
How weird is that? Yeah. Herb T, welcome to the show from Facebook. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Brett Bartlett's also on YouTube. Love it. Love it. And we got Sergeant George is on as well. And we got about 1 minute before we go live on the satellite radio portion of the show. I'm going to pop over here to our Rumble channel real quick and just kind of check out the stuff over here. So hello to our Rumble people. The Rumble feed is working good. Next, I'm going to be able to check our LinkedIn feed and make sure that LinkedIn is all, LinkedIn doesn't always work. It's kind of temperamental, but I'm looking right now and our LinkedIn feed is active. So we're live on LinkedIn as well. So,
oh, thank goodness.
Whew. Hey, LinkedIn's the best social media platform out there as far as I'm concerned. So I love it. We're about 34 minutes out. Hey, do you guys, are you okay with taking things in order? I was going to start off with the video, the stories for the video components first, do a couple of those, and then start hitting the updates, throwing those in every once in a while. Okay, cool. Thank you. I appreciate that, Brett. All right, well, gentlemen, we're about 15 seconds out, and I'm going to start the music. We're going live satellite radio. Here we go. All right, guys, and welcome to Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host, and we're a group of law enforcement professionals that talk about today's news and issues, but we do it from a law enforcement perspective. And let me introduce the crew. Guys, if you don't mind waiting for the video portion of the show, I don't know why the sheriff's smiling and laughing. Something must be going on I'm unaware of. But anyhow, yes, we have Sheriff Mark Kreider all the way from Walla Walla County in Washington State. So, and he grew up in Ohio, not in Maryland, just in case anybody's wondering. So thank you. Welcome to the show, Sheriff. Also, we have Captain Brett Bartlett, 32 years of exemplary, he likes me to use that word, exemplary law enforcement experience. So thank you so much for being on the show. We have Lieutenant Chuck Springer from LAPD. He has migrated over to Florida, my neck of the woods. And then finally, retired Secret Service, Rich Staropoli. And I found Rich. He was on the Laura Ingraham show on Fox News, and I said, "Man, this guy is just so impressive." And then they got another guest on, and it was Rich. And I said, "Well, I can't get the first guy, so I'm going to give Rich a call and get it." No, Rich was the guy. He was the impressive guy. I got a hold of Rich, and he couldn't wait to get on the show. So we're very lucky and fortunate to have Rich on the show. So thank you guys so much. A shout out to our sponsors. Our title sponsor is Gulls at Gulls.com, ComplyTechnologies.com. Our satellite sponsor, we have Gunlearn.com, MyMedicare.live, SafeguardRecruiting.com, our streaming sponsor, and thanks to them, we're streaming to over 1 million followers right now on social media during the live show. And finally, TwoBells.com. They built a new online store at LeoRoundtable.com. Go to our website, check out the online store. You can buy cool gear like the shirt that I'm wearing, and the prices are rock bottom. I spend what you guys spend. We don't make a dime off of anything in the store. We're just trying to get our gear out there. So please check that out. Also, a shout out to Brian Burns for the Tampa Free Press at TampaFP.com. Thanks for carrying our content, Brian. Ray Diedrich, former lawman.com, and Travis Sheets with lawofficer.com. Thanks to all those entities for helping make the show happen. What in the world are we going to be talking about today? Guys, our first story, well, this is we won't necessarily take this in order, but more than likely we will. We have a Tennessee sheriff's deputy who was beaten into a critical condition on live TV show by a suspect that he was seeking. And Rich is the one that sent me this one. Thank you, Rich. I'm glad I held on to it for you. I can't wait to get the input from you on this one. Then we got El Paso police. They released body cam footage of an officer involved shooting that killed a man and injured an officer. Guys, there's going to be a lot to critique on this one. Not just the left-handed female officer, but the male officer. We're going to be all over this. And then we got CHP, California Highway Patrol. They're paying $10 million for paralyzing a Salinas man who was high on meth, armed with a gun, pointing it at the cops. I don't know where they found these juries at. This is scary stuff. Thank God we're not in California. Maybe Chuck, I want to get some input from you on that one. Harris County deputies fatally shoot a suspect who's armed with a large butcher knife. San Diego officers fatally shoot a guy armed with brass knuckle knife after a chase and a crash. Polk County deputy resigns after being arrested and stealing cash during a Fort Meade traffic stop. And he had two of his fellow deputies turned him in. Got no issue with that at all. Oklahoma City police released footage showing what led up to a deadly shooting of a rape suspect. And then if we have time to get to it, double stabbing and arson suspect fatally shot by Prince George deputy. So if you guys are ready, put your seatbelts on. NewYorkPost.com. This came from Rich Scarapoli. Tennessee Sheriff's deputy beaten in the critical condition on live TV show by suspect he was seeking. You know, Rich, I don't think I ever would have heard about this had you not sent me the article. Of course, I don't read the New York Post, but a Tennessee Sheriff's deputy was beaten badly on a live stream cop-themed television show by a suspect he's trying to track down, according to the report. So On Patrol Live, that's the name of the show, captured the harrowing moment on Saturday when Knox County Sheriff's Office Deputy Dalton Swinger, he gets knocked into critical condition by a suspect who's named Christopher Hensley. They're in a wooded area. It's a residential part of Knoxville neighborhood, according to Law and Crime. Now, officers are responding to calls of a shooting. Now, remember, it's a live TV thing, and the cop's wife is watching too. The calls of a shooting in a neighborhood, and they're looking after Hensley. He's 44 years old, and he drew cops into the dark wooded area behind a home. So our deputies yelling sheriff's office into the woods, and then there's a voice from the darkness saying there's expletives. There's our bad guy. So our deputy Swinger goes into the thicket and to try to confront the bad guy, and they believe that he was armed with his own handgun drawn. And then in the video, our deputy Swinger falls on his side limp as the 44-year-old suspect allegedly struck him in the face with a brick or with a rock. And they say the entire studio, because remember it's live, that they went silent as they're watching what happens next. So then the troops come in. So his co-workers drag him to safety. They render aid. He tries to get up, stand to his, trying to brush it off. I'm going to be heavy. And we've got a co-host, Tim Rizzo, talking about this on Facebook. His girlfriend, Swinger's girlfriend, she told the news station WBIR, it was his girlfriend, not his wife, that she was watching when the grievous assault took place. And fellow deputies drag his body. It was limp out of the woods. And he attempts to brush off the injury, like I said earlier. But then when the cameras turned off, he took a turn for the worse. So they took him to the Tennessee Medical Center. He remains in the intensive care unit, according to Law and Crime. Knoxville County Sheriff's Office announced that Swingers made small strides in his recovery. He's able to move all four of his limbs. But that's still scary, right? Hensley was arrested after the broadcast. He's been charged with attempted second-degree murder, aggravated assault on a first responder, possession of a firearm with intent to go armed, and manufacturing, delivering, selling, possession is a controlled substance charge. And they have a GoFundMe for the officer Swinger. They raised over $65,000, which is a little light, I think. But I would like to think that the workman's comp, the agency, would take care of him. Whether or not he fully recovers or not, of course, we're hoping and praying that he does, but they hopefully will be okay. Commentary on this, Gemma. Rich, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I'll tell you, there are a lot of jobs that are conducive to having, camera crews follow you around live, although they may not make for great TV. I just have a problem with camera crews going out, especially live, with cops that are on patrol, responding to who knows what. Because ultimately, everyone wants to be a star. And I think having that camera crew and the pressure of being on live TV out there with you when you're trying to deal with anything, particularly a guy that's just run into the woods, who's armed, who's told you he's not coming out, come get me, that may have motivated this cop to do something that ordinarily he wouldn't have done, chasing this guy into the woods. And look what happens. He gets hit in the head with a brick, which I think is a good learning point for any cop out there, especially you newer guys that are hitting the gym, 23 and a half hours a day. I don't care how much you can bench press. I don't care how great of a shot you are. You get hit in the head, even if it stuns you for 15 to 20 seconds, you've given the bad guy an advantage. And the fact that this was carried on live TV, I think just emphasizes my point about what happens if you get hit in the control center, you take a hit in the melon, right? That led to some bad situation here. It's not a good idea to have cops running around with live camera crews. You want a live camera crew? Let the police chief or the sergeant who's responding to stuff, let him go out with the camera crew, but not the guys that are responding to stuff on routine patrol, because this is what happens. It's too much of an influence. It motivates cops to do things that ordinarily I think they would never have done.
That's a great point, Rich. There have been agencies that have stopped working with programs like this that are live for various reasons. But even here locally where Brett and I are at, Chuck Springer.
I think Rich is spot on. Aside from that, we're a professional organization. We're not a sporting event. And this is what these live shows really are turning into. It's almost a gladiator environment. Can you imagine your wife watching you get shot to death on live TV? I'm with Rich. This is unacceptable.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you guys. I personally have a hard time watching the live TV episodes with I can't do it. Not just because, I mean, we've been there, we've done that, but I just don't enjoy it. I don't find, I just can't do it. I can't even force myself to do it. So, if there's no other commentary, and great points by Chuck and Rich. Chuck, you wanted to throw some final words in?
Yeah, just real quick. I hope this guy recovers fully and doesn't have any adverse effects. We got to have him in our thoughts and hearts.
Thank you. And Brett, just keep in mind, like what Rich said, all those hours in the gym, they'll do you nothing if you get hit in the melon.
Don't hate.
Don't hate.
Hate's a four-letter word.
Oh, yeah. I think we can squeeze that one by FCC. So
you're just mad because I put my water bottle on your head. That's why you're mad.
Hey, I don't have a flat top anymore. So, yeah. Sheriff?
I think all those hours in the gym will help and speed up his recovery. So make sure you're in tip-top shape in case you do get stabbed, shot, beaten. All those things help with the stress.
Yeah. Tis true. And the older you get, as Brett, I'm sure will agree with me, even though he probably doesn't know what I'm talking about. Cardio is king. So as you get older, I mean, you need the strength-based training, and that helps with bone density stuff. But if you get in a fight and your stamina, you go fast. I don't care what level of conditioning you're in. When you're in an all-out fight, you get tanked. The bad guy does too, unless they're drugged up. But cardio is so important for cops that we really don't do enough cardio training, but you got to be able to last in a fight. So
I also take exception to sending command staff out on the street. That's dangerous.
Do you? Oh,
we have people for that, Sheriff. We don't need to go out. We have people.
All right, well, gentlemen, we're about a minute and a half from our first commercial break. Let me whet the appetite with the next story. It's got a video component as well. Rumble.com, our favorite law enforcement video channel called This Is Butter. El Paso police released body cam footage of an officer involved shooting that killed two men, or that killed a man. We have two officers, though, a male and a female. And one of the officers, the female, ends up getting injured. Let me just start off by saying that if you're listening to the show audibly, podcast, radio station, please stay loyal to those outlets for bringing you this good quality content. In return for that, we will describe in great detail what's going on so that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. But if we cover a video that you absolutely have to see, and I will tell you that these last two are probably ones you're going to want to see. All you have to do is go to our Rumble channel the very next day at 9 o'clock in the morning on Eastern time. Our producer, Will Statcher, he'll take a copy of the live show from the day before. He'll inject every video that we talk about, and he'll put pictures of the good guys and the bad guys that pop up as you watch that show. So at 9 o'clock the next morning on Eastern time, Tuesday through Saturday, you can watch that version of the show. So El Paso police releases body cam footage of the officer involved shooting. It killed the bad guy, but we got the female officer injured. Stay tuned for that, guys. We got a commercial break coming up, but you do not want to miss this story, and you certainly don't want to miss the critique. We'll be right back. All right, guys. It's time to talk about our title sponsor, Galls at Galls.com. And as police officers, one thing we do really good, we love to buy gear. We love it. And when you throw the online option, it's like our choices are limitless. So here's what's really important here. I want to remind everybody, it's supporting the companies that actually support law enforcement. And I don't know of a company that does that better than Galls at Galls.com. I mean, even their motto is proud to serve those who serve, which of course they do in spectacular fashion. And not only that, they walk the talk by supporting dozens, and I mean dozens of focused organizations like this radio show. So when you're looking for gear, please support our title sponsor by going to Galls at Galls.com, and they're going to do you one better. For the loyal listeners of the show, they've got a radio code. It's radio15. It's a discount code. It'll get you 15% off of most purchases at Galls.com. Go to Galls.com today and use that radio15 code to get 15% off your next purchase. And hey, they've got gift cards. Hook up your family, friends, and loved ones with the new Galls gift card, and they will be your new best friends. You can do all that. They pretty much have everything but guns and ammo at Galls.com. Again, that is Galls.com. All right, we've got 2 minutes, guys, before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And yeah, we got some good commentary going online as well. I'm going to pop over here to Kyle Brandt. All right. Yeah, Kyle, we've been missing you, wondering where you're at. So thank you for being back. We appreciate it. And I'm going to pop over to Rumble as well. So, and trying to look for MVS here. Well, guys, you guys can open up your microphones. Everybody having a good week so far?
No.
No. Okay. All right. Well, it's going to be a good show. Let's see. Friday's the holiday. We are doing a live show on July the 4th. So that's going. And Andrea Casal is going to be on that show. So I know that she's got a pretty big fan base. And but Andrea is going to be on the show on Friday, on July the 4th. So you got to love that.
I got a surveillance on Friday.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll understand, Brett. You got a cell phone, right? With a camera and audio?
No.
Maybe not.
Rich was trying to talk, Chip. Would you quit interrupting him?
Oh, Rich, I am so sorry, Rich. Go ahead. I'm sure it's something substantial.
It was. I was just saying I will be joining you as well on the 4th of July.
Oh, you saw? Okay. All right. Excellent. I think that Joel Schultz might be on the fourth, maybe. I can't remember, but
right.
But thank you guys. And I think that we're filled up on Thursday. So yeah, things are moving quite along here. So, and we got Mark Lamb, Sheriff Mark Lamb, still trying to schedule his first appearance on here. So I heard from him yesterday. So even though he's retired from Pinal County, he is a very busy guy. And I think Sheriff Prider, Mark Lamb.
He will be at my house the following week.
Is that right?
Yeah, I got him scheduled to be our guest speaker for our Lincoln Day dinner.
Good deal. Be right back. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com. So look, we left off. We're getting ready to get into the story. El Paso police, they released body cam footage, an officer-involved shooting that kills the bad guy, but we have two officers, a male and a female. The female gets injured. So what happens? It's in El Paso, Texas. The El Paso Police Department releases its body cam footage. Officer-involved shooting. It was earlier in the month in the Upper Valley area. Suspect killed, officer shot. So it starts off about 3:15 in the afternoon. It's on June the 1st, and police get called to a family violence incident in progress. Now it looks like they parked down the street and they're walking, along the roadway towards the house. It looked like they parked a decent ways away. So when the officers approach the home, a guy becomes visible in the driveway. He's behind a parked car, later identified as Salvador Valdivieso. And he approaches the officer, but he's got a gun in his hand and he starts to fire. So both officers return fire, and it says the suspect is stuck. He's not stuck. He's struck several times. A little foobar there, Sheriff. So look, I'm going to go ahead and tell you what the article says, and then we'll go to the show notes. So our guy, so they really kind of leave a lot of stuff out in the article. The bad guy's transported to the hospital. He later dies. The officer was shot in her leg, taken to the hospital for treatment of her injuries. Both officers involved in the incident are 2-year members of the force. So they've been with the agency for 2 years. Doesn't mean they don't have prior law enforcement, but for 2 years. So when you watch the body cam footage from the get-go, it doesn't take long. At the 11-second mark, or armed suspect, he comes in the view in the driveway, and now the shootout starts. I immediately note that our female is a lefty, and she's shooting one-handed. And it looks to me like she's on the radio while she's shooting left-handed. And we'll let you guys talk about that. Both officers remain in the open. Now they're between a parked car that the bad guy came out from behind, and he goes in the street and down in the direction they came from. And I'm just thinking, I'm hoping that they locked their cars and didn't have the doors open or anything, but he goes that way. But instead of putting the parked car between them and the bad guy, and there's like a low wall as well that's maybe a 1.5 feet high that they could have gotten in a prone position. And I know that's easy than Monday morning quarterback, but they seek no cover, no concealment, no nothing. They're just in a shooting match, and a lot of it shooting one-handed. So during the shooting, and I know this by heart, I can just go from memory. During the shooting, our bad guy comes back in the street towards them. Our male officer that is now stuck between two houses, he turns his back to the bad guy, and he's shooting one-handed, and he's running away. He's running, and he loses sight of the bad guy. Bad guy is able to go back behind around that car that now the female officer, his partner, is doing it's not even a tactical reload, but she's doing a reload, replacing her magazine in slow motion. totally unaware that the bad guy's coming around the car that she's using as cover. Now, she finally got to a cover point when she switched the mags. Her partner is oblivious to the fact that where this bad guy is and doesn't communicate with her. So as soon as she gets that new fresh mag in and charges, he's there and she starts, shooting at him. A lot of frantic shooting stuff, but the bad guy does end up going down, but she ends up getting shot in the leg in the process. So that's kind of how this goes down as far as the verbiage and all that stuff. But these are 2-year officers with this particular agency. I, for one, was not impressed with either one. Gentlemen, I whoever wants to go first, this is going to be, we may end up spending some time. Rich, why don't you start us off?
I'll tell you what, if I watched that video, one of the first things that came to my mind was I would have liked to have been an aluminum siding salesman in that neighborhood, because the number of rounds that was fired, where were these things going? What are you, just shooting up the neighborhood? Was there any thought? The guy is right in front of you, yet it doesn't seem like any thought was given to, hey, I've got to deal with this guy. Get on it and deal with it. All they did was keep running around this car and kept firing shots to the point where this female officer reloads, what, twice? And you've got the other officer, he didn't even know this guy was coming up behind him. What happened to the number one rule? You roll into something, pay attention, and assess what you've got, right? Deal with what you've got, and then communicate. This is why I used to tell my guys all the time, and I happen to be left-handed, that may be somewhat irrelevant here, but I used to tell my guys all the time, you better make sure when you get to work, you've got your gear set up so that you can access whatever it is that you may need. Because there is no excuse for lowering your gun because you've got a radio in your hand. Are you kidding me? Why didn't you put some forethought into that before that situation developed? What went on here, inexcusable, some of these things. But listen, it's another good reminder that even if you have 2 years on the job or 20 minutes, you never know who's coming out the front door of someone's house, right? Be prepared for anything. That's the cop's motto, regardless of what department you're at, what agency you're at, wherever you are in the world. Anything can happen when you're a cop, and you've got to be prepared. And it just didn't seem like these two were.
Yeah, Sheriff Ryder.
I'm gonna take issue with one thing Rich said, just because he's a Secret Service agent, and I want to take exception to anything he says. I would say have your gear squared away when you roll out of your house. I'll tell you a story. I was back at Quantico teaching an overseas pre-deployment class, and we had a couple DEA agents that were in our class, and they landed at National, got their rental car, and on the drive to Quantico, they got into a little fender bender altercation, and the guy came out shooting at them, and none of them had their guns on their hips. They were in their bags and all this kind of stuff. So be ready to roll and have your mindset set after you finish that cup of coffee and before you walk out the door of your house, because you don't know what's going to happen between your house and the office. The other thing, we talked about it earlier in the Navy. We said aviate, navigate, communicate. Most important thing is keep your airplane flying. You don't need to tell people that you're flying. You don't need to tell people that shots have been fired. Get the shots on target and get to it. I'm with Chip that reload should have taken less than a second, and it probably took 3 seconds to get that gun back up and working. And they kept giving up position constantly as the guy was moving. Get to cover, get your shots on target, get both hands on that gun, and make good quality shots.
Thanks, Sheriff. Good points, gentlemen. We will be right back to discuss this. Our second commercial break. We'll be right back. All right, introducing Compliant Technologies at complianttechnologies.com, and they're committed to providing non-lethal solutions that help officers gain the upper hand safely and rapidly in a humane, low-optics manner, utilizing their CD3, which stands for Conductive Distraction and De-escalation Technology. Their flagship product, we all know by now, is called the Glove. It's helped officers, I was going to say, tens of thousands of times, but now they're up to over 250,000 deployments with absolutely no injuries and no deaths. I mean, it's a crazy stat. And you heard me correctly, no injuries. They've actually achieved non-lethal status in an arena that predominantly can only offer less lethal results. And when it comes to weapons retention, transitioning to a sidearm or conductive energy weapon, the globe at CompliantTechnologies.com, they virtually eliminated weapons confusion. So stay ahead of the game with Compliant Technologies and the revolutionary CD3 the hundreds of agencies have already turned to nationwide. And friends, take it from me, when it comes to safety, this is one of the most common sense, hands-on solutions that's ever come along. So go to CompliantTechnologies.com today and tell them that Chip sent you. Again, that is CompliantTechnologies.com. All right, we've got 4 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And thank God for energy drinks. All right, hopefully everybody's having a good time. So I know when we come back, I suspect we'll be talking about this for a little bit. And I know Brett and Chuck haven't talked yet. And I think Rich had something he wanted to add. And I'm still waiting for Chuck to say, well, dude, you know, in LAPD, you know, they haven't exhausted, they haven't run out of beanbag rounds yet. Foam, you know, taser, the taser gun, you know, all these things, you know, OCCS gas. You know.
No, they should have had that compliant technology glove on and just rushed them. Right?
You know, Chuck, me and Chip saw that in action out at the SHOT Show in January, and we saw a huge man go to the ground, just touching.
Oh yeah, and Jeff Wenninger soiled his undies.
Neat.
When he did.
Oh yeah.
Is that an age thing? Because
probably.
Okay.
Chip, we didn't even talk about that portion of the video. After they've engaged in a gunfight, they came back up, and the male is giving him commands to drop the gun. At that point, we're done. We're done with that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it was hard to watch.
I think the guy's last words were, "Could you shut her up?" And then he just
he killed himself from listening to her.
Yeah, he smoked himself. I'm tired of her crap.
Hello, Betty Dunn on Facebook, and we got some people we haven't seen in a little while. So welcome back to the show. And MBS, I'm looking for people on Rumble as well. I'm going to pop over here to LinkedIn as well. So thanks for watching on LinkedIn, guys. And we will be doing a $50 Goals gift card giveaway tomorrow. So make sure you watch tomorrow's show and type in the word Goals in your email address. Now watch, I say that and watch somebody do it right now. But there you go. Kyle Brandt. All right. Beanbag rounds are on their way out, according to Kyle. The risk of over-penetration is too great compared to the 40 millimeter direct impacts. Okay, the 40 millimeter foam round. Yeah, we have had a beanbag round. I remember we had a story not long ago. It penetrated the guy's chest and killed him. So, but that's why they call them less lethal instead of non-lethal. But yeah, good point. And you know,
video, I think it was from a couple of years ago now, where the protester, he took a beanbag right in the beanbags.
Really? Yeah.
So if you can mandate beanbags only be fired to the southern hemisphere, so to speak, I still think they have a purpose.
Well, you know, is it safe to say that the rifle, you know, the AR platform has pretty much replaced the police shotgun, the Remington 870 now in the patrol car?
Yeah, it's a shame too, because all God's children need an 870. Well,
think about that. Before we had rifles, though.
Starting to get a little weepy-eyed, right?
What about the Ithaca 37? What was wrong with that one?
Yeah,
Ithaca. Oh my gosh! Did it stay together after you pulled the trigger?
Absolutely.
Well, and the bayonet on the end of it, it was right there.
I've got an Ithaca in my safe.
I do too, from our department.
I just want to say that the FBI was at the forefront, because back in the 30s, we issued BARs to our agents.
That's right.
So,
see, Chip, he's spelling in front of you because he doesn't think you'll understand what he's saying. So
is that what it was?
Yeah.
No. See, I remember a story the other day. You didn't get to enjoy it, but he was talking about frags. And
I was going to frag you one day.
That was a pretty interesting story the sheriff told. All right. We were 10 seconds out, guys. Going back to satellite radio. Here we go. All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show. My name is Chip the Block, and I'm your host. We have Sheriff Mark Kreider from Walla Walla County, Washington State, retired LAPD Chuck Springer, retired Tampa Police Captain Brett Bartlett, and retired Secret Service Rich Staropoli. Thanks, guys, for being on the show. We have been talking about a use of force involving a bad guy. It's a domestic disturbance. We have two cops, male and female, approaching from the street. They park down the road, and the bad guy appears in the driveway. He's armed. He starts shooting at them. There's a shootout. Our closest person to the bad guy is our female officer, who is shooting one-handed, left-handed, because it appears that she's on the radio with a right hand. Our male officer also engages the bad guy. A lot of sporadic shooting. I don't see really any good convincing two-handed with a good shooting stance, controlled fire. And then our male officer turns his back on the bad guy when the bad guy starts, coming back up the road towards them again, and isn't looking at the bad guy, who now is allowed to go around the car. The female officer is using as cover while she does a slow motion reload. And by the time she gets the mag in, charges, he appears and totally surprises her. And now the shootout starts again, and the bad guy ends up going down. She gets shot in the leg. So that's what happened, in case you're just joining the show. I know Sheriff Mark Kreider, you had some words that you were saying, and we have some other guys that probably want to weigh in. So Sheriff Kreider.
Yeah, we were talking about the video. Once the engagement happens, the guy runs down the street and then runs back. The second the male officer is still giving him commands to drop the gun, or raise your hands, whatever commands he was given when he's holding the gun at chest level. At that point, I think we've exhausted all of our remedies other than just shooting him.
Yeah, I agree. The only command that should be given, and it's not in the deadly force encounter, is stop, police, don't move. After that, the only communication should be between the officers who are trying to get an advantage to smoke this guy. But, Chip, we've talked about that at length. Guys, stop screaming at the bad guy. And I won't make a show of hands here, but how many times have you ever given a command to a bad guy? He did it. No, they don't. So keep that oxygen in your head. Use it to make decisions, when to pull the trigger. And even at that last moment when the bad guy's in front of the garage and the officers are behind the truck, they're still giving that guy commands. It's over with, man. The last thing he should hear from on earth is some cop giggling because he's getting ready to put one right in his dome. That sounded terrible. I'll take that back right now.
I'll second that.
All right, Chuck Springer, how are they doing LAPD style?
Well, this is an interesting suspect. He's highly mobile, and he feigned surrender twice. And so the second time he does that,
Good point.
There's no question the round should be, and he's standing still finally. That's a great opportunity to, get the suspect down and end the threat. I won't go into a lot of the stuff we've already discussed. There's a lot of training debrief issues there. Thankfully, these officers didn't die, but let's talk a little bit about training and the mindset of our officers these days, and not just these days, but in the past. When I was on the job, a lot of officers expected that if the department wanted you to be competent, that it was the department's job to train you. And I agree that that's true for a lot of things. But when it comes to firearms competency, we only go to a certain level in the academies. And then depending on what agency you work for, you may only qualify once or twice a year. And that's just shooting at paper. I would highly recommend that officers shell out the money and go to a 2-day tactical firearms course on their own dime, on their own time. You watch the reload on the female officer, it's an improper reload. Her pointer finger should be all the way up at the top of the magazine so she can be eyes up and engage that magazine into the pistol without having to lose sight of the suspect. That's probably why she didn't see him come back around. But with all that said, I'll give them credit. They stayed in the fight and they won.
Yeah. Now I wouldn't, if I was the commander of this agency, I wouldn't look, these two, the you know, they both should be shot. The female should likely be dead from what happened. They lucked out. This is a I believe this is mostly a training issue. I didn't see cowardice, but well, you know, I didn't see anything. I would say substantial cowardice, but it's, you know, watching this video tells me that this agency does static training. They're probably standing still. Someone said paper targets. They're not doing high intensity stress shooting, moving while you shoot, and moving targets. So I suspect the training is the main fault here. But these guys cannot go back out on the street until they get that thing addressed. I suspect that likewise, other people in the agency are going to suffer the same demise unless they get this training thing under control.
Well, Chip, I was a little confused because she had what I call very generically a red dot scope on her pistol. That was supposed to have fixed everything, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was I wrong? Did I buy one for no good reason? Now I've heard this about these miracle devices. They help you see better, but they don't help you shoot better.
Yeah. Well, she's of course.
If you suck at pulling the trigger, you're going to suck at pulling the trigger no matter what's on top of your gun.
Yeah, the stress level, the one-handed shooting while she's trying to move away from the target and doing one-handed shooting when she's on the radio, which is going to do her absolutely no good except get her killed. Yeah, just there's so many problems with this. This does not make the agency look good. They can recover by doing something positive because this has come out. Now they're aware of this. They've got to do something before they get an officer killed from lack of training here. Thank you, FLG, man, for the support.
Here's the thing we ran across, Chip. I don't know if the other guys ran across this. You know, when I was in charge of firearms training at Tampa Police, I'd go to the boss, go, Chief, we need to go to the range on me. We need more training. And I was told, this is very basically, sorry, got to fill zones. Got to fill zones, man. We're down. Got to fill zones. You know, we can't take cops off. Got to fill zones.
I know,
but got to fill zones, brother.
Yeah, you know, if you think your agency isn't providing you proper training, you know, at the end of the day, it's your life.
It's on you,
right? Do something. Yeah. You know, outside of law enforcement, a lot of professionals spend a lot of money to make themselves more marketable, but law enforcement officers seem to think that the agency is simply responsible for that. And they are, like I mentioned, on a lot of things. But for these kind of situations where you're going to have to come out and start shooting, it's your life, it's your partner's life, it's your family on the line. Get out there and get some training if you have to do it on your own.
Chuck, you remember years ago, they came out with this little square. It was conscious competence, and the very bottom was unconscious incompetence. Some officers don't know how bad they are because if they knew how bad they were, they'd go take training. Some know how bad they are and they won't take training. They're even worse than that. So, you know, we all agree and we all did pay for our own training. But if you're stupid, you don't know you're stupid.
Right. And I agree. You know, I think the training standards across the country on the department level need to be bumped up a little bit. Thank you.
Hey, Rich,
takes money.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, that's why, you know, having a guy at the helm, like the sheriff here, if you have a trainer that's in charge of that agency, it's a lot easier to pull off. They get it, you know. And I know, you know, Mark. I mean, you know, when you were at the FBI and you were their SWAT TAC guy, you were a firearms instructor trainer. You got that head. But, you know, a lot around the country, a lot of sheriffs and chiefs don't. I've worked for them, and man, what a difference working with someone that actually embraces training.
Well, Rich can probably tell you one of the big changes for me when I came over to obviously the sheriff's office was in the FBI. If we wanted a training day, we just shut the office down and everybody went to the range and we shot. Wow. I don't have that luxury. I've got to provide the citizens, you know, safety and security 24/7. So it's much different. And I can tell you in Walla Walla County, my training budget, my entire training budget, which includes travel and signing up for classes and stuff, doesn't even is probably 1/10 of the ammo budget that I had in Milwaukee for my agents. So one of the things, you know, we talked about that if you're a professional, you seek things that make you more professional. I encouraged my agents and I encouraged my deputies to get out and go shoot USPSA matches. They're 20, 25 bucks a piece, and I will give them ammo to go shoot that thing. And you will actually see how bad you are at one of your skills when you see some of these civilians and these 12-year-old girls running circles around you on these courses. And it's embarrassing, and it makes you train harder and get better.
Wow.
And it's cheap.
You know, Sheriff, years ago, we used to have our own range, Tampa Police Pistol Rifle Club, and it was paid for by the civilians who were coming out to rent the range. And we had 2 reloaders out there. We had a civilian employee. All he did was reload ammunition for us. We'd get 2 boxes a week or whatever. You'd be surprised, maybe not surprised, how few people ever took advantage of it.
Perfect timing, Brett. Guys, we're up for our 3rd commercial break. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, guys, it's time to talk about GunLearn at gunlearn.com. As law enforcement officers, we deal with guns and we deal with ammunition every day. It's what we don't know about them that gets us into trouble. Injuries, civil lawsuits, accidental discharges, misidentifications, lost prosecutions, and disciplinary issues. But gunlearn.com, they have your back. You can quickly become extremely firearm knowledgeable by simply learning 14 training modules from the convenience of your home or your office, or by attending a live seminar at gunlearn.com. You can also become a safe, accurate, and competent certified firearm specialists like our very own Captain Brett Bartlett and also attorney Ken Appianco. Now, the course has had huge success in raising the bar of firearm knowledge, and GunLearn has been a trusted source since way back in 2011 by gun manufacturers, federal agencies, forensic organizations, and even police departments nationwide. Now, the founder, Dan O'Kelly, has got a deal for you if you have your own agency. If you're chief or sheriff, you can host a seminar for absolutely no cost. It's an amazing opportunity. You can go to gunlearn.com to get more information. Again, that is gunlearn.com. All right, guys, we've got about 2 minutes before we come back to the radio portion of the show. And yeah, we're spending some time on some of these topics, but they're all good. Hey, Rich, I was going to ask you, did you ever have the opportunity to carry, and it's probably mostly the uniform division, but maybe not, I don't know, the P90, the FN?
I was a counter assault guy. So yeah, we carried that as well.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, I have the PS90 and I have the 5.7, which both shoot the same ammo. But man, what a great rifle that is.
I had a chance to shoot one of those at Beltsville, Rich, years and years ago when we used to have a regional pistol match there, NRA match. And then the NRA guy called them jackbooted thugs, and then we weren't invited back after that. But
well, Brett, you shot mine. I brought mine down for you at the range.
Well, but that was old news, man. I shot mine decades ago. Back when
was that the P90 or the PS? Was it full auto or?
It was, yeah.
Okay, the P90.
Yeah, they had a range underneath what's the older training building. Now they got so many now, but Mark. I still compete. I think competition's the next best thing to being there. And we can't get guys to come out, and we'll say, look, man, come on out, shoot. Here's some free ammo. We can't get people to come out.
You know, the best thing about competition too is you get to compete with some people that are absolutely at the top of their game. You know, tactically, maybe you don't learn a ton of stuff, but technically you increase by leaps and bounds, and you meet people that are great at their craft and are very willing to share what they know with you to make you better.
And most at least in the police where most shooters were instructors.
All right, guys, welcome back. Leo Roundtable at leoroundtable.com, the law enforcement talk show, joined by Sheriff Mark Kreider, Captain Brett Bartlett, Lieutenant Chuck Springer, and retired Secret Service Agent Rich Staropoli. Thanks, guys. And we've been talking about a lot of things, but this last use of force involving 2 officers, there's a learning opportunity from what we've seen. Hopefully the agency will apply that and make some changes to their. We suspect it's mostly a training issue. Brett doesn't think they're going to do that. You may be right, but hey, you know what? After shows like this go on with the people that we have on with you guys, I'd hate to be in a court and have the chief or the sheriff, being told, you know what, this is no secret. You didn't learn last time this happened. Now you've got like what Rich said. Now you've got, a civilian in a home a half a mile away, and a bullet comes ripping through the window and takes out, a mother or a child. These are definitely things that, once the agency becomes aware of them, they've got to take action, or there's a huge liability over hanging over them. Sure.
Well, one of the things they need to do, Chip, is have a what did we learn session after each of these things. And
Agreed.
I think there's a lot of pushback. The unions don't like it because cops will have to talk about what happened. And if there's a discipline issue, that could be a problem. But you need to tear it apart, rip it apart, bring people in and say, listen, you did this good, you did this not so good. We're going to learn from what you did great, and we're going to learn from what you did not so great. But don't let it go to waste.
Well, I think Brett, you're totally right about that. But that speaks to the overall, the whole way the world is working now, right? We can't have an after action because we don't want to make anybody feel bad. Yeah, that's great if you're selling ice cream. You're a freaking cop, right? You just engaged in a gunfight. You know what? If you can't take a little constructive criticism, you're in the wrong line of work, right? I'm not concerned about optics. I'm not concerned about making somebody cry. Hell, we've made people cry on the range before. Too bad. Go find another job. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, Chip, sure. I was gonna chime in exactly that. This is the old carryover from my Navy days. You brief the flight, you flew the flight, and you debrief the flight. And I will say that the FBI specifically, while I was in, is horrible. When there was an F-14 that crashed anywhere in the world, I read the mishap report. I was required to read the mishap report, as was everybody else that flew F-14s. When there's a shooting in your agency, everybody should be required to read the after action report and learn from those guys what they did right, what they did wrong. It's not a critique, it is professionalism, and you are honing your craft every single day that you are involved in this profession.
Yeah, that's one of the best statements of today's show. You're absolutely right.
It's like the NFL. Don't tell me they don't look at the post-game videos to see what happened. And these are professionals. They learn because they can win next time. It just drives me crazy. But I guess when
that's
I'm in charge, it'll be better.
So Brett, let's talk about Microtech. What do you got there, Brett? I
have a Microtech knife out the front, solidly built. I'm very impressed. I've been showing it all around my professional community. Everybody's digging it. It's a nice little knife, Chip. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Microtech. So
watch this. Watch this. You don't have enough bandwidth to follow this. Ready? Look, you missed it. You missed it.
Yeah, I tried that. I tried to put that in slow motion, but it just wouldn't work. And so likewise, this is an out the side automatic, and I'm going to go really slow for you guys on this one here. Look at that. Isn't that just, and isn't this just beautiful? Look at that thing.
Wow.
And it's got the blacked out blade and stuff. And so the nice thing about this one, this is a demolition. So this is the underwater demolition version. And this thing, there's no play in the blade. I like a serrated blade. So this thing is partially serrated. And yeah, it's just the feel of this knife. It is great. Microtech has definitely got some great products, and Microtech is the name. So thanks for showing the knife off, right? And you're getting a lot of compliments, you say, huh?
Oh my gosh, I tell you, all God's children need a knife.
And so what I would say is that if you're in uniform, and look, we've been talking about knives. And Sheriff Kreider's going to have one. He's going to be showing off soon. And out the side, which is what this is, not out the front, but out the side, there is less cleaning for a knife like this. So if you're in uniform and you want to carry an automatic knife, you can open up with one hand by pushing a button. And out the side is really what you're going to want. If you're in a controlled environment like Brett and I are now, you're a detective, you could go with an out the front. And but they require a little bit more maintenance, lubrication. You want to make sure that it deploys when you're in a jam. You don't want to have it not deploy. So that's why if you're on the street, you're not controlled, you don't know what kind of environment you're going to be in. It's going to get dirty. It's going to get stuff in it. It's just not going to, eventually the out the front's just not going to open when you need it to. So that's why out the side when you're on the street, when you have a controlled environment, out the front will work just fine. So if you guys
I just want to say that that's a clear violation of Chapter 15, I think it is, or 15 USC Chapter 29, 1241, the 1958 Switchblade Knife Act.
Ooh,
Oh, I think that's in section OU 812.
I'm glad. I'm glad we carry under Leosa, Brett. All right. Moving along here. Let's see. Let's go to an update story. This one is in California, and you know what? I'm going to switch it up here. We're going to go to Polk County, which is Grady Judge neck of the woods. TampaFP.com. Polk County deputy resigns after an arrest. He steals cash during a Fort Meade traffic stop. Now, look, the system's working. We identified a bad deputy, and two fellow deputies turned him in. Listen to this story. Polk County, or Imperial Polk County. Grady Judge, the sheriff. Polk County Sheriff's Office traffic enforcement deputy resigned on Wednesday, June the 25th, 2025, after being arrested, and he's charged with petty theft. Had he not resigned, he would have been terminated. Deputy Justin Register, 28 years old. He's young, taken into custody following an investigation initiated by two fellow Pasco County deputies who reported his alleged dishonest behavior during the traffic stop. Wow. So kudos to the deputies. I know it wasn't easy to do. Now here's Sheriff Grady Judd. I am disgusted by Justin Register's dishonest behavior. We are going to hold him accountable for his disgraceful actions, and he should never be trusted to work on law enforcement again. And that's what Grady Judd said. He said, I am proud of the two other deputies who came forward to report what they discovered. Now, the incident started near a place called Fort Meade during a traffic stop conducted by this deputy Register. The driver was arrested for driving without a valid driver's license, and Deputy Joseph Leon and Deputy Vito Menio, the other two deputies, they arrived as backup. Now, Deputy Leon observed our original deputy Register place the driver's wallet and phone in the trunk of his patrol car, and shortly afterwards, the Deputy Leon, the backup deputy, saw the original deputy Register return to the trunk. And when the driver's daughter arrived, requested his property, one of the backup deputies, Leon, watched Register retrieve the items, pull $82 from the wallet, and hand it to the woman. Now, the driver stated that approximately $300 more should have been in the wallet. Now, the two backup deputies, Leon and Meneno, they began searching the scene and found a pay stub belonging to the driver for a check cash for $400. Now, Deputy Leon then noticed Register, our original deputy. He goes back to his patrol trunk. He unzips the rifle bag, and he removes some folded cash. He unfolds it, he flattens it, and he says, oh, here it is. And so the backup deputies immediately report what they saw to their lieutenant, and then there's an investigation. Sheriff Grady Judd emphasized the investigation is still ongoing. It's far from complete, and the agency is now going to audit all of this deputy's arrest and traffic stops. The Sheriff's Office is also collaborating with the 10th Judicial Circuit to review all the arrests that he's made that are currently being prosecuted. And they are looking for people that have more information to come forward. 45 seconds, guys. Any commentary on this one? I know Brett used to be the internal affairs guy. Chuck Springer.
In the words of Forrest Gump, stupid is as stupid does, especially when you have other people there. Not that makes any difference. And over $400. Come on. The problem is the stain is set, and it's on law enforcement more than it is on the fact that two other officers stepped forward and reported it. But at least they did the right thing.
Yeah, totally agree with you. Well, guys, it's been another great show. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere. But thank you so much to Sheriff Mark Kreider, Walla Walla County in Washington State, Captain Brett Bartlett from the Tampa Police Department, the founder of Exumber Defense Solutions at exumberdefense.com, Lieutenant Chuck Springer, former LAPD commander, and former Secret Service agent Rich Sterpoli. Thank you, guys. Now, I usually take this opportunity to talk about the Wounded Blue at thewoundedblue.org. Lieutenant Randy Sutton's 501c3 that's helping cops out in a world of hurt that are suffering from things like PTSD and other issues. And guys, if you're looking for an organization to support that's not going to embarrass you, I highly recommend the Wounded Blue at thewoundedblue.org. Shout out to Galls.com, CompliantTechnologies.com, Gunlearn.com, and Medicare.life, Safeware Recruiting, and TwoBells.com. And we're going to go in and keep this thing going for about 1.5 more minutes, guys, until we get to the top of the hour for the satellite portion of the show. But another great show. Gentlemen, Brett, any final words for our radio audience?
Keep listening, keep learning. That includes all you police out there.
Now, Brett, why do you say police instead of police?
It's I don't know. It's I went into a room, I got real dizzy, and they came back. Now I say police.
I said that to a woman once at one police plaza, and boy, did she come unglued. And
Was
yeah,
it the chief or something? Or
oh no. I've been working the projects too long, and I just said police trying to bring things to so she would understand, and it didn't go well after that. So oh well.
Well, they're in a different building. They got a different patch. It's different. The police, and then there's the police.
Yeah, I think there's like 2 O's in that, 2 or 3 O's. I can't remember. I lose count.
Do you guys use Popo on this side of the country?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
They say
5-0.
Or 99 or
Yeah.
Rollers. Rollers was a popular one.
Yeah. Now that was when you were wearing those tight shirts, Brett. When we would bail out,
I don't want to talk.
and you would run, and the rolls would, on the
Excuse
side. Never mind.
Excuse me.
But he's getting verklempt. All right. Hey, guys, thanks so much for watching the show. LinkedIn, Rumble, Facebook, YouTube, Vimeo, all the outlets. Thank you guys. We'll look for you back tomorrow at 12 noon Eastern. And I'm going to go and kill the stream.